This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring a discussion on green energy corridor for long-term energy security and ecologically sustainable growth. The participants are Dr. C. K. Varshney, environmentalist, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist.
Today we are discussing this approval by the Central Cabinet headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on approval of the Green Energy Corridor Phase 2, which will be passing through 7 states to the National Green Grid, one of the major initiatives of the central government of building green grid, especially for solar and wind energy generation. Dr. Varshney, how do you see the Cabinet decision today in approving the second phase of the Green Energy Corridor?
I think this is a very important development to really free ourselves from the fossil fuel use and to integrate the grids as well as to improve the intrastate grid. And the balancing and deficit balancing, all that is possible once you have a grid which really runs across these states which are really rich in solar power. And by this it is possible to balancing the grid requirement at various places. At the same time, it also envisages improvement of the grid and strengthening of the grid itself. And I think this is one way of evacuating large power from one place to the another where there is deficiency. And at the same time, it is an important step to achieve the target of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel energy that we have promised to really achieve by 2030 at the Paris Agreement. And then it is for 5 years that this project is going to be there. The investment that are being made is for 5 years, that is by the year 2025-26.
Dr. Varshney, this is the second phase of the Green Energy Corridor, and it is a great initiative by the Government of India that a Green Energy Corridor, which was started as part of the 12th five-year plan, which started in 2012. Under this plan, we have huge targets about 500 gigawatts by 2030, which the Prime Minister also announced in the Glasgow Climate Summit, though the government is yet to make it part of the nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement. But the way the government has been focusing on green energy across the states, incentives have been given to states to promote green energy in all walks of life, not only the big power plants, but also through electric vehicles, through road transport. So how do you think the Green Corridor will help the state governments or the green energy generators in the coming years?
So I think it will help in a great way, because once you have a grid, then I think it is possible to really transmit the energy from deficit region to the surplus region. And you are right that India is making great strides in terms of really achieving the non-fossil fuel generation of electricity. And it is not very surprising for us that it is the fourth largest in the world in terms of the wind energy installation that we have. And you already perhaps will be aware that India has been able to achieve 40% of the non-fossil fuel electricity generation, which we were supposed to achieving by 2030, and it has achieved by November 2021. So I think that 8 years earlier, we have achieved the kind of commitment that we have made at the Paris Agreement, where it was committed as a part of NDCs that India will be able to achieve, or at least will have 40% of the non-fossil fuel component of the total energy mix. So this is what we have already achieved. So I think that on many accounts, we are progressing very, very satisfactorily. And there is a large number of programs which are really focusing in our becoming a non-fossil fuel major in the consumption as well as production and so on and so forth. There are a number of initiatives that has been taken. One of the most important initiative, which to my mind is an international success in a shortest possible time, is International Solar Alliance, which is the intergovernmental agreement organization where there was only the countries which were on either side of the equator, which are solar power energy rich. But now it has grown and it has got the UN sanction. And it is only very recently that USA has also joined this International Solar Alliance. and now membership stands about 101 countries or so. So I think that is a very big step. And the objective of this is to really promote research as well as to promote technology which any individual country was not able or is not possible for an individual country to manage. So I think here is another very major development that has taken place. More than that, we have got a large number of other schemes as well, which are highly exciting and have a great promise. For example, the green hydrogen project, which is being taken up very seriously, and preparations are afoot so that India is able to produce large quantities of green hydrogen, and not only for the domestic consumption, but also as a global export hub. So I think these are some of the things which are so exciting that if we continue to focus and continue to really put our might into this, then very soon we will have a situation where net zero will be possible for us to achieve, which is one of the objectives that is being discussed at the Glasgow meeting. So I think that these are some of the things. And hydrogen, is most environmentally friendly thing, where absolutely no carbon footprint is there, except that you are using water as a major raw material and certain amount of electricity. So if it is tagged with solar energy, then it becomes green hydrogen, which is possible. And I think some catalysts are used in order to split the water molecule, and thus it becomes very, very environmental friendly and safe. So I think these are some of the things on which the work is going on. And I think GAIL is taken up this challenge as one of the major producers of the green hydrogen. And they are already really supplying gas. And it is through the gas pipeline, the hydrogen will also be perhaps supplied. So I think along with the gas, hydrogen will be also supplied so that the fuel becomes very, very energy efficient and its carbon footprint gets reduced considerably. At the same time, you will also be aware that there is a big biofuel policy. And I think on this front, I will say that the exciting developments are that the production of diesel engine cars have been stopped and EVs are given a big support and a boost in the country, and for that there is a big policy outlay. And in this regard, it is also very important to realize that 20% of addition of the bioalcohol is also being taken up by certain states, and the production capacity of the biofuel in the country is also increasing day by day, and it's making a good progress.
Dr. Vaishnav, a lot of schemes, a lot of work is being done for promoting green energy, from moving from a fossil fuel based economy towards the greening economy. And in this, I think this green energy corridor plays an extremely important role. We have to achieve the net zero commitment made by Prime Minister by 2070. The green energy corridor linking all the states, all the solar and the wind energy plants. I would like to highlight that under this plan, the Green Energy Corridor Phase 2 for interstate transmission systems, approximately about 10,750 circuit kilometers of transmission lines and approximately 27,500 megavolt ampere transmission capacity of substations will be enhanced. This will give a major boost to improving the electricity circuit systems across the country, apart from providing the green energy connections. Dr. Vaishnav, in this area of electricity distribution also, the central government along with the state governments have done a lot of work in the last few years, and we have seen that, almost every village in the country now has an electricity connection, which about a decade ago was a dream. So this energy to all transition also is an important step towards empowering people. So how do you see this step?
I think it's a very exciting development, and these steps are extremely valuable for the good health of the environment. You see, once you have got a carbon footprint free renewable solar energy or bioenergy or other forms of energy, you will find that air pollution problem, which is really besieging us and creating a heavy problem, and continuously, persistently it is becoming a menace, will also go down significantly. And I think this will also save our foreign exchange drain for importing the fossil fuel as well as the petroleum products and gas. So all these things really work in the manner that not only one thing which is going to be achieved, but perhaps a large number of other things are also going to be achieved. So the co-benefits are so heavy and so exciting that I think it is worthwhile that these projects need to be processed and promoted, and consistently they are really worked so that the targets are achieved well in time and the results are really available not only to this country, but we will be able to greatly contribute to the global environment as a whole.
Dr. Varshney, one thing which is believed that in future, the manufacturing or the one sector which will grow the most is the renewable energy sector, electric vehicles, the new battery systems, the new circuits for the electric vehicles, transportation through electric modes. So do you think that we have done enough to become among the leaders, if not the leader, in the area of renewable energy and renewable mobility in the coming years?
I think that we have got a very optimistic view of this. And you know that the kind of demand that is being there in the market for electric vehicle is very, very impressive. There is a big queue. The vehicles are not available off the shelf. And all this really says that the entire country is really looking forward and wants to shift over to EVs at the earliest. And I think some companies have already perfected the technology to a certain extent, and if they continue to improve, then there is no doubt that we will become one of the important players in the automobile EV market in the world. And the most important point is that those vehicles which are over 10 years of age, which are diesel operated, and those which are petrol operated, which are 15 years old, are going to be automatically deregistered, which means that those who have these vehicles are now looking for a replacement, and the only option that they have is to really choose between what is available on the market about different EV models. So I think there is a production constraint at the moment because of the chips, but I think the chip will be able to overcome very soon, and there is no question that this market is going to grow in a big way. Chetan, one of the important things that we must also recognize that these kinds of development will open up many new job opportunities, and many different kinds of expertise will be required. So I think the new brand of workforce is going to be developed around these new ecosystem that is being spin out around the non-fossil fuel energy sources. And I think that one of the more important thing is that it is not the large solar power plants which we have installed, but even the rooftop plants are also going to make a very significant contribution. I know that many personal friends and others who have installed these rooftop solar power plants and are enjoying the benefit of the mighty sun. And at the same time, their electricity bills have also very substantially come down, as well as they have their own source of energy, which really provides a great amount of satisfaction as a user. And since they are connected with the grid, and therefore when there is a surplus power generation, and there is a purchase agreement with the district supply or the electric supply company, and thus they get the benefit of it. So I think these are some of the things which are so attractive that after having spent some amount of capital investment, it is a permanent benefit that they get for next 15 to 16 or even up to 18 years. So I think this is something which is going to really multiply a large number of specialized jobs, skill development, and a large number of workforce which is ready to take on to these new challenges and their maintenance, their support system, and so on and so forth.
Dr. Varshney, I'm thankful to you for such an insightful talk on the issue.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Green Energy Corridor for long-term energy security and ecologically sustainable growth. The participants were Dr. C.K. Varshney, environmentalist, and Chetan Chauhan, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on a mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.